Okay, so Assalamualaikum. My name is Afreen Hassan, and I'm currently a sergeant at 767 Dearman Squadron, located in Vancouver, BC. So before we start, are there any questions or anything like that? Okay, so Assalamualaikum. My name is Afreen Hassan, and I'm currently a sergeant at 767 Dearman Squadron, located in Vancouver, BC.
Okay, Fernando, you can start the program and then we are going to write some questions in your presentation. We can ask the questions, right?
Yes. Okay, so let's get started. So yeah, once again, my name is Afreen. I'm currently in grade 10 and 11, and I'm 15 years old, and I live in Vancouver, BC. As well, my rank in Air Cadets is Sergeant. So a brief overview of what's going to happen today is we're going to learn about what cadets is, the requirements for it, specifics about each type, the different ranks, credits and awards you can get, and my journey in cadets, and we'll finish off with any questions you guys might have. So, what is cadets? So, the cadet program is a unique and interactive program for young Canadians between the ages of 12 and 18 across Canada. So, there are different types like sea, army, and air, and it offers exciting and amazing challenges that you won't be able to find anywhere else. So, basically, joining cadets makes you a true Canadian. So, the requirements to join is that you must be 12 years old. And it's highly recommended that you join early so that you won't be having any complications in your further years. You must also be a legal Canadian citizen or an immigrant, and you must fill out a pre-registration form before you join. And depending on where you sign up in your area, there may be a wait list. And you'll also need to pay $250 for your training fee, which is for the entire year, so from September to June. As well, before we start talking about the different branches in cadets, are there any questions? So Shaheen's iPhone, which I believe is just Shaheen, he has asked that is this an after-school program? So yes, this is an after-school program. So for my squadron, we go every week on Tuesdays from 6:30 to 9:30 p.m. And depending on the season, so like if it's in November or October, we do poppy tagging, which can happen on the weekends or in the evenings. Does that make sense? Okay, good. So next we'll be going on the different branches. So specifically for Air Cadets, which is what I'm in, Air Cadets specifics on flying, so aircrew survival, fitness, parades, so like not exactly like carnival parades, but it's actually like being in uniform, so marching in your uniforms and with all of your seniors and leaders. And you'll also be able to learn music. So depending on if you want to choose music, so for me, I chose not to do music because it's extra work, and I really don't want to like have music as my component for my extracurriculars. As well, you'll be able to learn about aerospace, so designing model rockets, going through space simulations, and you'll also be able to go further into the knowledge and understanding of planets and all that kind of solar system things. You'll also be able to learn survival skills, which is also known as FTXs, or field training exercises. Here you'll be able to learn how to create fires, making shelters, finding water and food resources, and also getting leadership skills with your peers. And you'll also learn how to fly under the supervision of a pilot, of course. So you'll be able to take control and fly from like thousands of feet in the air to just above the ground. And this will all be done under the supervision of a pilot once again, just in case anything might occur. So in the image on the right, this is me in the second from left, and these are all of my peers and cadets. So here we built a shelter last year in June, and we gained a lot of leadership skills, and this is a requirement as well for when you're in cadets. Next, we have Sea Cadets. So for Sea Cadets, it includes parades, once again, just marching, and it's not exactly carnival parades, just marching in uniforms all across cities, basically. And you also gain seamanship skills, music, and sailing. So depending on if you want to learn music or if you want to learn instruments, you can do so. If you don't want to, that's of course that's fine, depending on if you want to do it. And you also get to learn about sailing. So you know how to ride boats, how to control ships, and depending on the boat, so you can do 2-people boats or you can do 12-people boats. And depending on that, it can change how you learn everything. As well, there's pleasure craft operator certificates and licenses. So from these certificates, you'll be able to learn and get the official recognition that yes, you're able to operate a boat and a small carrier. And once you get your own boat, if you do so, then you'll be able to use it on your own. As well, there's seamanship. So here you're able to learn how to create knots. So knots in sea is a really important skill because this ensures the safety of your vessel and your cadets. So this is a very big skill for sea cadets as well. Before we continue, are there any questions? Okay, I guess so not. So continuing for Army Cadets. Army Cadets includes parades, so marching once again, and you also get to go through expeditions, fitness, and outdoor survival. So for the expeditions in Army Cadets, you go through caves and you also go through rafting. So rafting, as shown in the image below, right here, rafting is like a very competitive and like essentially dangerous kind of sport. So you have to have a lot of experience and you must be a senior as well in cadets to be able to go through such activities. And for everyone in general who are in Army Cadets, you go through physical fitness, as shown in the image on top. Here you go through survival training, so how to create fires, how to gain access to water, food, and just basically how to survive in the wilderness by yourself, if need be. And also, you'll be able to learn how to use maps and compasses. So for example, if you're stuck or if you're lost in the wilderness, then how will you get out? So in Army Cadets, you learn how to use maps, compasses, or GPSs, and also you'll able to learn how to use the like star guides, where you're able to see which way to go depending on north or south. Okay, moving on. So there's some common training that you must go through for cadets. So for all cadets, you'll have the opportunity for biathlon, marksmanship, and learning how to use music instruments. So for music instruments, once again, it's optional. You don't have to do it, but if you do want to, you can. And a really important part of cadets is poppy tagging. So for poppy tagging, it's once a year from October to the first week of November. And here is the part where you're able to gain volunteer hours. So you, once again, as shown in the image above right here, you use basically baskets, you can say, and you sell poppies with no rush. You just like stand there basically and offer if anyone wants poppies, any donations to the veterans, and basically just standing there, you're representing cadets and everyone in Canada as well. So for the ranks of Air Cadets, we have, we have Leading Air Cadet, we have Corporal, Flight Corporal, Sergeant, which is currently my rank, and we have Flight Sergeant, Warrant Officer Second Class, and Warrant Officer First Class. So on the left is the least, and on the right is the greatest. So as you go through the different levels, you gain seniority and you gain more respect in your squadron. And the ranks for Sea Cadets is Able Seaman, Leading Seaman, Master Seaman, Petty Officer Second Class, Petty Officer First Class, Chief Petty Officer Second Class, and Chief Petty Officer First Class. So just like Air Cadets, all of these different ranks are the equivalent to the ones in the other branches. So for example, in Sergeant as Air Cadets, it'll be the exact same as Petty Officer Second Class in Sea Cadets. And for Army Cadets, there is the first rank as Gunner, second rank as Bombardier, third class as Master Bombardier, Sergeant, Warrant Officer, Master Warrant Officer, and Chief Warrant Officer. So once again, from left to right, it's least to greatest, and the highest rank for every single cadet is Chief Warrant Officer. Oh, is there a question? Yeah, you can go ahead.
I don't mean to interrupt you. Go ahead, Afreen. Finish what you're saying, and then I'll ask.
Of course. So once again, the highest is Chief Warrant Officer for Army Cadets, and for Sea Cadets, it'll be Chief Petty Officers like First Class, and for Air Cadets, it'll be Warrant Officer First Class. So you can go ahead for your question.
Do you have to start off between Army, Navy, and Air, or can you join as the general and then make your choice once you've had a feel?
So for my process of joining Air Cadets was that because all my friends were joining Air Cadets, I just joined with them. So personally, I did choose Air Cadets as my first, but later on, if you feel like you want to join Army or Navy, that does work, but I would recommend that you choose which sector depending on your choice to join first.
Thanks.
Yeah, you're welcome. Okay, so moving on, we have credits and awards. So specifically in my province, which is BC, to graduate from high school, we need 80 credits. And joining Air Cadets, you can receive, not Air Cadets, sorry, cadets in general, you can receive up to 8 credits just for doing the activities. So getting 8 credits for high school is actually a very big deal because 8 credits is basically doing 2 courses in high school in like 1 year. So that's actually a lot of credits you can get for school. Awards as well, you can get a lot, and they can be used for university applications and resumes. So basically, any awards you can get from your squadron may be local, or depending on your performance, if it's very well, and your seniors see that you're doing really well in cadets, you may be able to get higher awards, such as in like provincial or even international or national levels. Moving on, so my journey in cadets was that I joined in September 2019. I learned about aviation, survival techniques, and leadership. And specifically learning how to fly, that's because I wasn't able to exactly learn because I was stuck in COVID. So not exactly me, but for my entire squadron, a lot of us weren't able to do so. And hopefully in the future, like slowly, it'll start, getting better, and we'll be able to do flying as well. I also gained experience, knowledge, and confidence from cadets, and I received a lot of volunteer hours and graduation credits for high school. So next, I'll be going through the squadrons in Calgary. And before we go through this, are there any questions? Looks like no. Okay. So there's a few squadrons I found in Calgary, and there's the 2137. Oh yeah, go ahead. Okay, I don't think that's a question. Never mind. So for Calgary, there's the 2137 Royal Canadian Army Cadets Corps. So I'm not sure where this is exactly located because I don't live here, but this is the closest one I found for Army cadets. There's also 781 Calgary Royal Canadian Air Cadet Squadron. So this one is in Northwest Calgary, I believe, and this is the one for Air Cadets. As well, there's a Royal Canadian Sea Cadets Undaunted. So this is in Southwest Calgary, and this is the closest one I could find in Calgary specifically. So that's all for the squadrons I found in Calgary. Moving on, are there any questions?
Generally, is the time commitment the same for all of the programs across the country?
Sorry, could you repeat that again?
Is the time commitment the same for all of the squadrons across the country?
I believe it should be the same, but I'm not exactly sure. So for my squadron, once again, we meet up once a week on Tuesdays from 6:30 to 9:30. So that's about 3 hours each week. And it could vary from each squadron once again. And basically, it's at least once a week, and it should be a minimum of 3 hours. Yeah.
Yes, Afrin, I would like to add something from Calgary. I have some students, they are still in Air Cadet program. That is in Wednesday, I think from 6 to 9, around weekly 1 day. So Shahin self, the answer is yes. Most of the provinces, main city, this is after school program. And this is, yearly, I think the same, everywhere the same programs.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Afrin, one more question. Is it the grade 10, 11, 12? So some credit you mentioned.
Yes.
So this will, you can add this credit to to complete your high school credit also, right?
Yes. So for my province in BC, we need 80 credits to graduate. In Alberta, it might be different. I'm not sure.
100 credit.
Yeah, there you go. So if it's 100 credits in Alberta, then it might be higher credits you might get from cadets.
Yes.
Because you need credits from grade 10, 11, and 12 in both BC and Alberta, I believe. So right. You won't be able to use it in grade 8 or 9. So yes, it will be used for grade 10, 11, and 12.
Thank you, Afrin. I didn't know.
How would that, sorry for interrupting.
No
How
problem.
would that change if the kid starts at age 13, for example, or age 14?
Yes.
Because they'll have fewer hours. Would they still qualify for those 8 credits if they started after the age of 12?
What happens is that the cadet program starts for students at the age of 12. So I highly recommend that people join at the age of 12, because if they do join in 13 or 14, they're totally able to join, but it just decreases their growth and their learning for cadets, because they lose 1 year as well. But for the volunteer hours, that's separate, because what happens is that volunteer hours is for your own personal resume, not for your credits. Because when you do join cadets, you get the credits no matter what. Because for me, I'm in level 4 right now. Yeah, I'm in level 4 right now, and I've been in cadets for about 3 years now. So because of that, I'm able to get the 8 credits from the cadet organization.
So if I understood correctly, regardless of when you start, you do get your 8 credits based on the number of hours that you volunteer. It's not based on when you start.
No. But for the volunteer hours, it's actually not based on that. It's based on if you complete the levels. So there's different. Yeah, exactly.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. Are there any more questions?
Yeah, thank you, Afrin. So the information you shared, I'm going to double check with Calgary Board of Education.
Yeah.
We have some program is called dual credit program.
Yes.
Which is in grade, I think 11 and 12. So they run it under University of Calgary or SAIT or some other institute. So this program, what they do, when they finish this program and they get the program for their high school credit, and as usual for university also, that is called dual credit program. Is the same thing or is a little bit different?
Once again, like, I don't go to school in Calgary, so I'm not able to answer that question. Yeah.
Let's see. Let's in our team we will search and then
Yeah.
we can inform you also that. Thank you. Go ahead.
I have some questions about the opportunities to join the armed forces afterwards based on the cadet training
Yes.
provided through this program. Can you speak a little to that?
Sure. So many people think that when they join Air Cadets, Sea Cadets, or Army Cadets, they have to or they must join the forces after. That's actually not true. If you do want to, that's great. If you don't want to, that's fine. That's completely okay. But joining cadets in general will help you, like gain the extra experience for when you want to join the forces. So specifically for Army forces, right? You need the experience for like physical fitness, understanding how to, protect yourself in the wilderness, how to have the basic skills of creating fire, creating fire, getting water, all that kind of stuff. So joining Army cadets will basically help you a lot or when you want to join the armed forces.
Afrin, I would like
But
to-
there's no advanced standing that you achieve, is there?
Not exactly, but on your resume when you do apply, it will help a lot because it'll show you that look, that this person did a lot of extracurriculars. So when it comes to their application, they'll have a higher benefit. But once again, all applications may be different, and depending on where you might want to, apply, it might change.
Thank you.
Afrin, I'm going to add 1 or 2 points also. I think it helps you to discipline your life,
Yes,
to
it does.
structure your life, right? Because you are going to work with lots of officers and you learn, and then it will help you to become a brave person, isn't it? Yes. So one question, who run the program, they are from the current officers they run the program or the retired officers or both combined?
Most of my officers who teach us, they're actually either like previous cadets, or some of them are just, regular people who wanted to just, work in cadets. And in some scenarios, they may be, working in the Air Forces or Armed Forces, depending on what they choose.
And I have one more question, Afrin. So let's say what is next? You finish I think the program is from grade 6 to grade 12, which is age 12 to 18 years old, right?
Yes, it is.
So when you finish the program, and then let's say if somebody would like to build their career, so they have some kind of program there, or they need to move on to your Royal Military College, or there are some other program also?
Are you trying to say that like what people do after cadets?
Yeah.
Oh, basically, once again, cadets in general is just an extracurricular. So, like, instead of doing, piano or instead of doing sports, you can just get all of that all in one in cadets. And because it's under the Canadian government, it's also more recognized more widely as well.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, but if they would like to join a Canadian Air Force or something, then I think they need to go for the Royal Military College, right?
Yes, they will need to do that.
Right.
I also see that Abid has a question. You can go ahead.
So for like credits, like will it vary if like when you're in cadets? Like if you take anything else or if you don't take music or something like that?
Sorry, could you repeat that question?
Will the credits in cadets like vary if you like take music or something like that? Like if you do something but someone else does something else, like will your credits vary from the other person's?
So in general, all cadets, they will get the same amount of credits depending on how long and which level they achieve. But say, for example, if you're doing music in cadets, then that's specific hours that you dedicate for learning how to use the instrument. So in my squadron, if you're learning music, you you, I believe on Thursdays from 6:30 to 9:30 once again, they practice the instruments all together, and on the parade nights they all do the performance. So once again, that's separate hours, and that's counted as volunteer hours, not the credits. Yeah.
Perfect. So, Afrin, can you walk us on the website, because you already know better? So just maybe about where are the application forms, parents how to find out the forms, and when are the time to fill up, and then when need to send it. For Calgary, I can send the link here, but for your area, you can.
Yes, of course. So I'll show you the website for my squadron. So can everyone see the screen?
Yes, we can see the, yeah.
Okay, so this is the website for my squadron, and it's once again 767 Dearman Squadron in Surrey, BC. And here we have, like all the cadets, and I'll just show you a little bit about how to join. So currently our squadron is on waitlist, so we're at like highest capacity, and that when we're accepting new recruits, it may take more time because we have too many, and yeah. So I will show you the form here. So depending on your squadron, it may be a different format, but this is mine. So they ask for your email, your phone number, your name, your birth date, and interests you might have. So leadership, flying, first aid, music, marksmanship, biathlon, survival, marching, and community service. And that's basically how it goes for the pre-registration. And once you get called for the actual registration time, you will have to go in person, and you'll be attending an in-person meeting and consultation for how to join and what happens in cadets. Yeah. So are there any other questions?
Yeah, I see the same thing also in our Calgary. They have the same kind of form, and then they need the parents' permission to start.
Yes, that's a must.
Yeah, if you have some questions, you can unmute and then ask the question. You can write it down here also. So, Afrin, I have one question. Some parents, they think this is too much commitment. Okay. Sometimes they're also doing some other programs, that is school program. So do you think that it will be, it's realistic, they need to spend too much time for that program? Or how do you like to, is workload, how do you like to balance it?
Yeah, sure. So my parents, at the beginning, they were like really happy that I joined cadets because it's a very good opportunity. And when I first joined, right, I was in grade 7, so I had like barely any work to do, so I had more time to spend for cadets. But as I, grew older, like joining high school and all that kind of stuff, like my pressure, you can say, started in grade 9 because I had more, more homework, more extracurriculars, and I also had to balance cadets. But at the same time, I knew that like, education comes first. So if you have a test or if you have a project due, make sure you always prioritize your homework and all of your schoolwork first, and then do cadets, because cadets is optional, right? And it's not like a must for you. And if you do need to join, that's okay. But I would recommend that, do your work first and then do extracurriculars, because your education is more important than, your education is more important than other stuff that, won't help really. But yeah, I do recommend joining cadets no matter what, because if you have a list of extracurriculars, number one will be for sure cadets, because this is an like organization and program recognized by the Canadian government. And when you go to apply for university, this should be your number one thing you list, because it's really highly recognized and you get a lot of awards and credits from this as well.
Yeah, I strongly recommend parents and students to join those programs, because you're going to get the credit also, right, to finish your high school. So instead of doing some kind of credit in classroom, let's see, which is not related, just that very simple course like art or drawing or some kind of gym, right? You can do it by yourself, but those cadet course you cannot do by yourself. So it's better to do extra. The cadet course would be better in this case. So you can get some extra benefit also from that. So Afrin, one more question. I see you on your presentation that as a air cadet, you have a chance to fly also. So what about this program, about the flying?
So for flying, it actually starts when you're 16, but depending on your squadron and where you live, it can vary. So I was first able to, fly when I was about 13. So when I first joined, right, around the first year. And because of COVID, I was like basically, canceled off, because, everything was closed, nothing worked, and everything was like shut down. So once again, it's resuming again because everything's getting better. But personally, I can't say what exactly flying is and what happens inside the plane. But I do know that like it's very intensive. So like, you're like 100 feet off the ground and like everything is like all by yourself. And like, yeah, it's really intense, but I recommend that as a once in a lifetime experience, you do join flying and the program. But yeah, that's all I have to say.
Right. So you have to pay extra for that for the flying time duration, or you don't need to pay? It's included on the program.
It should be included in the program, but for my squadron, what happened was that there were a lot of people, and the organization for the flying asked us that like if you have more people joining, we'll make it free for you. So it can vary, but like I believe the most you might have to pay will be $100.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Oh. So often I would like to also introduce as Lamisa. She is almost pilot. She was in air cadet, and then now she is doing aviation course at Royal Mount University in Calgary. Lamisa, if you are here, you can also share some your experience, because we are from Calgary. Lamisa, your mic is working. Yeah.
Hello.
Yes.
Hi. Yeah, I just want to say nice presentation to Afrin. That was really good. The information was very accurate. It's basically the same thing here as well, but for us, they don't take us flying in like an engine powered plane. They take us flying in a glider, and you can get your licenses through the cadets as well, but that is like a scholarship, and you have to do ground school. You have to go to an interview, and then if you pass the interview, they'll pay for the scholarship and you get to do your license for free. But that's like very competitive. I don't know if they do that in BC, but in Calgary they do that. I didn't get the scholarship because when I was in cadets, that's when COVID happened and they canceled the whole program. So and I'm almost like aging out. I'm like almost 18, so I really can't go back now. But I'm doing my licensing privately now. So yeah.
Oh, so it's good that who are in Calgary, they get a chance to become a pilot also under the air cadet program, right?
Yeah, but you have to, there's like age restrictions. So for, I think glider, it's 14 because there's no engine in that. But if you want to fly an engine powered plane, you would have to be 17 or older.
Oh, 17. Okay.
Yeah.
Very
Yeah.
good. But and then you need to go for that. You need to get some scholarship or funding from other organizations, right?
No, so basically there's two portions of the process of becoming a pilot. There's ground school and there's flight school. So before you can apply or like you're eligible for the scholarship, you have to finish ground school and then they take you to an interview. So if you pass that interview, then they give you money or like a scholarship to finish your flight school. So that's when you're like, it's like actual flying, you're in a plane and like they're teaching you how to fly. So there's those two portions. If you pass ground school, they'll take you to flight school and they'll pay for it. If you don't get then, qualified for the interview, that's okay. You can still go to flight school, but like on your own money, and you would do it through a club, like a flying club.
Okay. So Lamisa, I know that it's a flying club is to get the license is very expensive because you know that for the oil, the craft maintenance.
Mhm.
Can you share us how much it will be the just a rough idea the cost?
So if you do it part-time, which is a huge mistake I made, if you do go into flying, please don't do it part-time, do it full-time. Because when you're doing it part-time, it's gonna not only cost you way more, because when you're doing it part-time, you kind of forget and now you have to revisit and like redo the lessons like over and over again. That'll cost you more. So if you do it full-time, you can do it under like $10,000 max. But if you do it part-time, it's gonna cost you like more than 20,000 for sure. So don't do it part-time, do it full-time, sit down and just get it over with. It'll be really nice. And it will cost you less money. And for more idea, each session, if you're doing it privately, like through a flying club, it will cost you like around $300 to $400 per lesson. So yeah, it is quite expensive. So
Oh my God, it's very expensive.
So I would really recommend if you're trying to be a pilot, join Air Cadets and try going for the scholarship. It doesn't hurt to try. Yeah, and ground school is like they have a $400 fee for ground school, but if you do it through cadets, it's free. And if you make the interview, then you get everything for free. So that's amazing.
Okay, so thank you, Lamisa. Maybe now Afrin will think, oh, I should maybe move to Calgary for a few months, so get the opportunity. Maybe Afrin will think. Okay. Okay. So yes, Lamisa, I think you are going to do the session another day about how to become a pilot in Canada. So that time we'll talk more about this issue. Okay.
Yeah, thank you.
Yes, if anybody have any more question, you can write it down. If there's no question, maybe we'll wait 2 to 3 minutes more. Afrin, I think, do you like to add something final conclusion if you don't get any question?
Yeah, that's okay. We can do that at the end.
Yeah, I think that. Thank you very much, Afrin. Last year you did one presentation in Quebec, in Calgary and other provinces. There are some students, they already joined. Maybe for the winter break, they could not join here, but they give me update. They join it here. So thank you very much, Afrin, again, to share the information for other children.
Yeah, of course. That was my pleasure.
Okay, thank you, everybody. Hope see you in the next session. Bye-bye.
Okay, thank you.